Backed by popular request, we're celebrating 25 years as a local doll club. Find out what it's all about coming up next on this morning's Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning with the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 25th anniversary doll show and sale to be held at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center on Saturday, March 5th and Sunday, March 6th. And we're visiting with April Holliday, one of the publicity co-chairs of the Coastal Doll Collectors Club of South Carolina. Good morning, April.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for coming in. I'm a little tongue-tied here on the middle of the week around 7 a.m. Sometimes the mornings are a little slower than other days. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
25th anniversary, that's a pretty big deal.
Yes. Now, I've not been with the club 25 years, but I've been probably 10 of that 25, and they've done a lot in those 25 years.
And how long have dolls been a part of your life?
Probably since I was a child. I didn't have a lot of dolls. I remember my grandmother used to give me a doll every Christmas, and I had some Barbies, and that was, basically it. But I have always loved them, and when I got involved, I would go to the doll shows before I even knew about this club, and then became involved.
That's fantastic, and there's a lot of folks involved in the local club. It's based in Myrtle Beach for South Carolina, for the state.
Yes, it is, and we're members of the UFDC, which is the United Federation of Doll Collectors, and it's all over the United States. And they give regionals and nationals of doll conventions every year.
That's fantastic. And of course, has it been at the Convention Center, the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, for a number of years?
Yes, it has. Yeah. They tried it one time inland, I think at one of the motels, but it was just not as well received as the Convention Center.
Right, sure. Real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm from Indiana originally. I've been here 31 years. I'm an interior designer and a doll lover, basically.
Great. What you said 31 years here? What brought you to the area?
Basically my furniture design experience. I went to school in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Worked at home in Indiana. I'm from Elkhart, Indiana originally. And at the time, recession time, 73, there weren't many jobs or enough work to keep us busy, so I moved to High Point because I knew that was furniture capital.
Sure.
I worked there for about 9 months, heard about a job opening in Myrtle Beach, and here I am.
Wow.
Been here ever since. Not the same job, but I've been here ever since.
Right, for 31 years. Do you still get back to High Point at all? I guess the furniture...
For the furniture market.
Right.
Usually in October.
Must be very exciting. That gets huge crowds from all over.
It does, most certainly.
And with this being the 25th annual, and to think about the impact, you said you've been involved with the club for about 10 years. What is it about, I guess there's lots of different things that folks can collect. What is it about, do you have other passions?
Well, I collect dolls, I collect teddy bears, I collect Santa Clauses. And so it's just, I think everybody has their own idea of what they like. A lot of the women collect what they had as a child. When we go to these shows, we go to antique doll shows in Gaithersburg. Our club goes usually once a year to Gaithersburg to an antique doll and toy sale. And these women are looking for old dolls that they had as a child.
Right.
And that's what's interesting to them.
Yeah.
And so it's fun, and it's amazing to see the value and the prices of some of these dolls that they may have thrown away as a child and never realized they could be worth $20,000, $30,000.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. One of the dolls that I brought.
Yeah, we've got 3 here in front of us.
The original, now she's a reproduction, of course, the large doll, the Jamo. She, if she was in that state, old doll, she would probably bring $20,000 to $30,000.
Is that's the one here closest to us, the one in the back?
Yes.
For viewers, it would be in the back. And how about the 2? I'm not sure we can see them precisely. Viewers can see them precisely, the 2 up in the front there.
The bride doll, that was a souvenir doll that we got at a convention that we went to. It was a regional convention, a UFDC convention in Florida a few years back. Each of the participants got the doll as a souvenir doll. Of course, you had to pay to go to the convention, and that included part of the price of the doll. That's a Beverly Walter doll. She does a lot of the porcelain dolls, and she paints the hair. They don't have real human hair. She paints the hair on. But the funny thing about it was the doll was not dressed. We got a undressed bride doll, so we got a pattern with our dinner, and we had to dress our own dolls. But I had someone dress that one for me. I sew, but I don't like to sew small.
Sure. And the other one there is...
The other one, we did that one about 3 years ago, and this is one of the things we do a display every year at our show, and these dolls, some of these dolls will be featured in our display from past displays, past years. She was a debutante. That was our theme for that year, the debutante ball. All the dolls were made by one of our doll club members, Thelma Resch. She's a famous doll artist, and she did the original doll, so we... I can't remember. I can't remember what her name is. But every doll club member used the same doll, different hair, different eyes, different outfit, in white, and they all look different. It was amazing. The same doll could look that much difference.
That must be
And
fast.
different people painted them too, so that makes a difference too on the.
And of course, for all dolls, obviously names are attached, and
Usually, I mean, it depends. Now these dolls. The Jameau, of course, is an antique reproduction of an old French doll. I don't know. They probably has a number to that doll, but as far as a name, back then they did not have names.
The Coastal Doll Collectors Club of South Carolina would have approximately how many members, April?
We've got at least probably 20 to 22 members.
Okay, sure. Do you mind me asking, are any of them men? No men?
No.
Yeah.
They help us with our show.
Sure, I'm sure they've got to be.
But there are a lot of men collectors at our show. There are a lot of men dealers, too. There are a lot of men antique doll dealers. And we have toys at the show, too. Antique toys and other toys. And there's a lot of men collectors. We have Barbies, lots of different types. We have kits if you want to make a doll and you don't want to do it from scratch. It's already made up. You put the doll together, you dress it. If someone has an antique doll or a doll that they had as a child and they want new clothes, you can come and find dresses. You can come and find wigs, eyes, just a little bit of everything.
But there are some male dolls. I mean, obviously you're saying that.
Yeah, well, there's G.I. Joe. One of the shows I was in Gaithersburg, a gentleman, this was, of course, during Desert Storm, he had a lot of G.I. Joe dolls that were dressed authentically in certain outfits. And I don't think he did as well as he thought he would, because the women really were not as interested. There were some men that were interested in those, and children, young boys. But it's amazing to see how many men collectors there are.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, when we think of Barbie, there's the Barbie and Ken. That's right. So there's Ken dolls. Those are probably pretty popular and well collected.
Barbie will still go on. I think usually the collectible dolls are the limited editions. They usually come out at Christmas, or the New Year's doll, or that type of thing, or special. Bob Mackie was one that was very popular. Designed their dresses, so they were very, very expensive. They were, 100 and up for a Barbie doll. I was telling one of the ladies that I have the Holliday Barbies, and the first Barbie, I don't have the first year, which I believe was '88. She's probably valued at $800 now.
Is that right?
She was $35 when you bought her new.
Wow.
I didn't buy her when she was $300. And I'm not buying her at $800, but it's, I don't know if I'll ever get the value out of them. I'm sure I'll get what I paid and probably a little bit more, but again, when you collect something, they always tell you don't collect what you don't like. Collect what you like, and don't collect it just because you think it's going to go up in value, because you never know.
Sure.
And if it's something you don't like and it doesn't go up in value, it's just taking up space.
You're collecting for a passion, obviously. Yes.
And you get to the point where the dolls, again, talk to you. Once you've collected dolls, there's certain dolls you may have thought, just like in art, the same way with art. I went to art and design school, and we critiqued artwork. And when I first started, I would see artwork, and I'd say, oh, it's beautiful. Once I learned how to critique, it was good, but there were things wrong that I could see after I'd learned. Same with dolls. There's things, the way the eyes are. There was a lady at our club, or at our doll show, that she had 2 dolls that were the same doll, but the eyes were different. The eyes, just the way they were set. And I was with a girlfriend, and I told her, I said, you know, if I had to choose, I would take her over this one. And the lady overheard me talking, and she said, well, this one's my doll, and I'm sharing a table with my friend, and she did this one. I use glass eyes. She uses plastic. I set them differently, and it makes a difference. It's amazing how just one little thing, you know, how can make a difference in the way the doll looks.
And some of the aspects about, you know, it's fascinating. I picked up one of my daughter's dolls the other day, and the way you stand it up and the eyes open up, and you lean at one side or the other, and the eyes begin to close. It's fascinating. Is that indicative of most dolls?
The baby dolls, a lot of the baby dolls, the old composite dolls were made that way. The very old dolls, I have a lady friend that's in our club. I was in her home the other day. She had her last club meeting, and we do have our club meetings in different people's homes every month. She had a baby doll. It was an old doll, turned upside down in a crib. And I said, she's going to smother. And she says, because she's so old, I have to keep her down, or her eyes will fall to the back of her head, and then they can't be repaired because she is so old. So she can't lay her on her back any length of time.
That's fascinating.
And you'll see at antique shows some of these doll babies, and their eyes are glazed because they're old, and they may have been stored wrong. They may have been stored in an attic, a hot attic, which is the worst thing for a doll that can be done. So that's another thing, preservation, how you take care of it.
Sure.
Makes a big difference in value, too, you know, down the road.
What are some of the events that will be occurring during this 25th anniversary show on Saturday, March 5th and Sunday the 6th? And the times are from, am I correct?
10 to 5.
10 to 5,
both
yeah.
days. Well, of course, we will have our display, and we decided this year, since it's our 25th anniversary, that we're going to do silver bells, celebration of some of the dolls we've done in the past. Again, each one of these dolls, now the bride doll we didn't use, but each one of these dolls we have a theme every year, and we have a display, and people just come to see our display because we go all out. So we're going to have about 6 different scenes, one as bride dolls, one as the debutantes, a garden party with these Jumeau dolls. But that's one of the things that people look forward to seeing.
Sure.
We do also going to have an appraiser, Sherry Minton. She's with UFDC. She will be there, I believe the times, I think from 1 to 3.
Okay.
For $3 a doll, and you can do up to 2 dolls. If you have an antique doll or an old doll you don't know anything about, or it was great-great-grandmother's or whatever, you can bring it to her, and she can tell you if it's valuable or not. She's very tactful, too. If it's not, it may not be, but she's very tactful as to how she does this. Some are very surprised at what just like Antique Roadshow, they're surprised at what they've got. They didn't realize. And dolls can be the same way. But she will be appraising dolls for both days from 1 to 3.
That's fascinating.
And then, of course, there's going to be probably over 100 dealers selling everything from dolls to dresses to parts to antique dolls, modern dolls. So a little bit for teddy bears, a little bit for everybody.
And of course, now would teddy bears be considered a doll, or
they're a collectible? They can be a doll accessory. I don't know if this doll, when the picture you've got, she's holding a doll or a teddy bear, and a lot of times the women that display their dolls, they may display them in a rocking chair with holding a teddy bear, or holding another baby doll. But teddy bears are very, very popular and very collectible, and they can be very expensive too.
Oh yeah,
a mohair teddy bear can run $300-400 if it's a designer bear.
Is that right? That's fascinating.
It's amazing, you know, the value and the prices of some of these things.
Of course, oftentimes when a child's given a doll, I mean, they want to play with it, or is there ever an expectation when, particularly someone who's a collector, when they give a doll to a child, I mean, they want the child to play with it, or they want the child to be careful with it?
I think it depends on what they're giving it to them for. There are many baby dolls, I didn't bring one today, but that are vinyl, that are weighted. They feel like a real baby. They can be played with.
Yeah.
They have hair. They may not have mohair. They may have synthetic hair. But they're dressed, they can wear baby clothes.
Yeah.
And they can be loved and played with. And they're really not, they're collectible, but they're not something I don't think that will go up in value.
Right.
There are also a doll known as a reborn. It's a fairly new thing on the market. It's the artist takes the vinyl doll, just a commercially bought vinyl doll,
Right.
takes it apart, paints it from the inside, does even vein lines in like a baby, adds the blush, the coloring, re-weights it, makes it a whole new body with pellets and makes it feel like an actual baby, and of course triples the price too. But
Sure.
but they are beautiful. They really are, and they do look like the real thing. And baby and children could play with those. Now I don't know that you'd want to spend $300 on a doll baby to give to a little girl to play with, but they have more affordable dolls for children. And of course, then the American doll is a vinyl doll, and she's is after the story of the American Girl. And there's so those are nice, and those are very popular for young girls, probably 6 to 12-year-olds.
So when most girls, if they're ever going to become collectors, or I guess they don't recognize maybe at an early age, but they begin thinking about keeping, and are they in a mode to start talking to their dolls? Is that common, or?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, we have women that are in their 70s that talk to their dolls every day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Some of our women have whole rooms full of dolls, ceiling to floor glass cases full of dolls, and very valuable dolls, and they're all recorded when they got them, what they paid for it, what it was, and all that. So it's like a library of dolls.
Yeah.
Others just buy what they want and don't care if it's valuable or not. It's valuable to them. That's what's most important.
Well, those passions are so interesting. Someone was mentioning the other day about their library of books, and on a Seinfeld episode, he said, "Why do you keep any books around? Read it, throw it away, or read it and give it away." And I guess in that same instance, you could have a library of books just as easily as a library of dolls, which is fascinating to think about. A lot easier to show them off probably than the books on shelves.
Oh, definitely.
When you think, April, as folks talk about collecting, how does one begin collecting dolls?
Again, just going somewhere and finding something that really, like I said, a lot of times a lot of the women in our club, they'll look for dolls that they had as a child.
Right.
And I think that's, some of these women don't start till their 50s and 60s collecting, really actually, truly collecting. My daughter, as she was growing up, we collected Barbies together, and she liked the Cabbage Patch dolls. And then one thing led to another, and I have a certain thing about redheaded dolls. I don't know why, but I love redheaded dolls, so I've got a lot of redheaded dolls. I have one doll that's named April. It's spelled Apryl, but I never knew I'd find a doll that had my name, and that's another thing. If they see a doll that's named after them, not necessarily named after them, but with their name, that makes you interested, or to give to a grandchild because that doll is the same name as your grandchild or something like that. So there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different things that will. My mother is 88. She has a few. She has probably a dozen.
Right.
And she was at our last doll show, and there's just one that seemed to talk to her.
Yeah.
Porcelain doll that was sitting down, and she bought it, and she has it in her rocking chair, and just loves it.
Is that right?
But she's 88 years old and is still buying dolls. So it doesn't matter what age you are.
Has your daughter become a doll collector, or of any sort?
She was. Yeah. She was a big doll collector. But we did that. That was just something we could do together too.
That's very interesting. You think there's so many aspects. How about you've got some other dolls with you there on your left? Could you share them with the viewers?
This one. This is a John Wright. If anyone is familiar with dolls, they are very expensive dolls. She is felt. And this gentleman, at one of our conventions, he had a display of his old original dolls.
Yeah.
And his first doll was just ferocious. I'm sure that first doll is very, very valuable now. This was a souvenir doll at our convention. We had it in New Orleans. So this was to be made like Mardi Gras. She is also a candy box. She is, again, all felt and hand-painted, and she has a suitor that you could buy, a bought to go with her, which he was almost $300, so she's by herself right now. She doesn't, but she is very pretty, and he does a lot of the Disney character dolls.
Yeah.
But his dolls are very, very expensive and very collectible. I mean, I've talked to women that's had, numerous dolls of his. John Wright is the artist of this one. This one is Patty, the doll artist that I had talked about, Thelma Resch, who's in our club. She designed this doll. When she got started, she was in her 50s. And
Really?
she just started doing sculpting heads of her grandchildren or her daughters. And that's where some of the names came from. This was the first doll I got involved in with the club. We had a state day, what they call a state day luncheon. We had it at the Dunes Club. And we made all these dresses and the hats by hand. I was not in the club yet, but I was put to work.
Wow, yeah.
So it is a working club. It's not just for fun. We do have a lot of fun, but we do things also. So this was the souvenir doll for that show, or for that luncheon. And then there was a boy that's made to go with her also. But she's nice. Also, I mean, there's many types of dolls. This one is a wooden doll. She's all carved, all wood completely. Her body and everything is wood. She's a reproduction, but they can become very valuable too, just a little different. The wooden hands.
That's beautiful.
Now they do make some that are jointed. This one is not just jointed at the hips, but they do make them that are jointed at the elbows and the knees, so you can pose them. But she was pretty. She was different.
Yeah, she sure is.
And then this one is called a topsy-turvy. This is the Alice in Wonderland. This is the Queen of Hearts. This is the Mad Hatter. And then you flip it over, and you have Alice.
Oh, wow.
And the rabbit.
That
Alice in
is
Wonderland.
ingenious. I've never seen one like that.
This was made, I'm sure, in China, but you can get them from all of I think I got this one in Charleston, as a matter of fact, at the market. But they are kind of unique, and they're a little different. I do also have the Three Bears, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and also have the Big Bad Wolf, Little Red Riding Hood.
Now,
So
this is obviously a collectible, but someone could purchase one similar to that wouldn't be a collectible for a reasonable price, or
Well,
no?
I don't think I paid probably $20 for this. Now, it's been a few years back. And again, they're made in China. I would not make this for what I paid for it. I mean, it's very difficult to do this.
Yeah, sure.
And have it all fit together and work together like it does. It's just it's amazing. But there's all types of dolls and all types of affordable dolls. If you don't have a big pocketbook, and there's many dolls out there that are very affordable. Like again, at our show, you'll find old Barbies. My mother, I had two Barbies, a Barbie and a Ken, that I had through college, had them packed away. I came home from school one weekend, and they were given away. My mother had given them to my nieces, which I told her, I said, I'll never forgive you to give my Barbies away, because I look at the prices now of what those Barbies would be, and I just cringe. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
That must be. Share with viewers, we just got a couple of minutes, April, the Silver Bells exhibit. I think you talked a little bit about that early on.
Yes. We are going to have probably 6 different mini exhibits in one. We'll have probably 10 tables set up. One will be the bride dolls.
Okay.
We will have it like a 25th anniversary celebration with balloons, and we'll have arbors, floral arbors. The larger doll, the Jamo, we used her in a garden party. So we will have chairs and accessory pieces to go along with them. Probably have, now when we had them originally in the show, we might have had 15 of those dolls.
Okay.
So we may have 3 or 4 in each setting, depending on the size of the dolls. The debutante, we will have the debutante ball dolls too, and then one of the ladies is going to do China doll exhibit.
Okay, you also have a special raffle, or a special prize event, a charity prize event that's been donated by dealers and other club members to raise money for local charity.
One of the ladies has donated a dollhouse that she bought many years ago. She never finished. So she has donated, and one of the other ladies has painted it and fixed it up, put the stairwell back in, and we are selling tickets to win this. And we also have a baby doll that was donated by one of our other doll members who does make dolls, and she is gorgeous. The charities that we give to are SOS Healthcare, CASA, Shelter Home, and Terra.
Oh, for boys' school, right.
So every year, if we don't get enough from our raffles or our sales of our tickets, then we do make up the difference and give to all those 4 charities every year.
That's a tremendous commitment. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with April Holliday coming up next. Think about it, 25 years, the 25th anniversary, the 25th annual doll show and sale for the Coastal Doll Collectors Clubs of South Carolina. Think about that commitment over that many years, continuing to get out, to make an effort to let other folks know of a passion. It's been a true passion for many, not only for April and for Miriam and so many of the club members that are helping make this event tick, and giving back to the community. To think of 4 charities that many of the proceeds are used to support here in the area. You can get out there. It's Saturday, March 5th, Sunday, March 6th, 2 days from 10 to 5, $4 for adults, only $1 for children 6 to 12. Bring them out there. Give them an opportunity. And if you get out there, even a special opportunity, if you've got a special doll, you think it's got some value, but you want to know, $3 only for Sherry Minton to tell you if it's got the value you may think. And as April said, it could have a tremendous value, and you may not even know it. Take the time to get out to the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. Come on in one of those 2 days. Only $4 for adults. It's the 25th annual.